Elvis Presley died too young, but his music, don't think it'll ever die. I've come from a bit of a dance background, so I began to feel the music before I even ventured into the Elvis world. There's something electric that happens to me on stage, which even when I look back at my videos and I'm like, who is this guy? Don't give up on your dreams, and because your dreams can last your lifetime. What makes me stand out is
Well, hello and welcome to a very special series of Goa Connect with the Global Goikars. Now, this Global Goikar is not a new name for all. If you read the Goan every day, you might have heard about this series. This is the series which features a lot of Goan who are based abroad and are doing fantastic work in their respective field. And this is a video series that we want to start on the Goan every day, and the name itself says it all. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure that we are starting this series with a lovely gentleman who has his heart here in Goa but is based in Australia. And what better way to start, because he is a celebrity in himself. He is the Elvis Presley, but with a Goan heart. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gerard Mascarenhas, joining me straight from Australia. Gerald, welcome to the show. I'm really happy to be having this interview with you. You were recently featured in the Goan Everyday column. How does it feel to be the Elvis Presley, especially with a Goan heart?
I'm not really Elvis, but what we try and do is I try and portray the emotion and the image of Elvis, because his music kind of is so varied, and if you really listen to his music, his voice, and what I try and do is try and portray that emotion through his looks or his moves and his voice, basically. But I do bring a bit of my own flavor to it when I perform, and of course, being from Goa, with all the dance and all the festivities that we are all exposed to since kids. So I guess people do feel that energy on stage.
When you say Goa, you're based in Margao, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. This has been an impression that, everywhere you have been called the Elvis Presley. Obviously, it is a fantastic thing. It's an amazing thing to be, flaunting. I'll come to that particular point, but I want to just revisit the words of Elvis Presley himself, where he says, some people tap their feet, some people snap their fingers, and some people sway back and forth. I just got to do everything together. Now, these are the words of him. I want to ask you, when did you fall in love with this, icon, this legend that we've all seen him?
Well, for me, it wasn't like you mentioned as well in what you've just said. It wasn't. It didn't happen in a snap of a finger. It was a collective things of various things that happened in my life, and I resonated with his life, his the words and the lyrics he uses in the songs, and for me, I've come from a bit of a dance background, so I began to feel the music before I even ventured into the Elvis world. Being in a lot of dance groups and stuff in Goa, and with my family and stuff, so music was always there. My dad was a wonderful singer. My dad wasn't really an Elvis Presley fan. He was more Engelbert and Jim Reeves and Kenny Rogers and stuff, and I just went the other way. I was more into rap and all the other things, and leave alone rock and roll. But because I enjoyed dance so much, I guess it kind of got instilled in me, and rock and roll and jive became a part of whenever we used to go out and stuff. So and Elvis was always the center of it all. But then I think after coming here and stuff, I would often listen to his songs, especially to pep me up after a very stressful day or a tiring day. I would often listen to his songs, and from collecting one song to became to 10 songs to 15 songs to albums to, I don't know, I think I have loads of his songs here, ranging from gospel music to his movies to something that's fun or something that's quite classic to something that's quite rare. And you get to learn, and you get to learn about Elvis's voice, how he transgressed from something, from his voice being quite thin to his voice being this big operatic voice, and that kind of fascinated me a lot. So I was like, if someone could do that, why not I see if I can go through the same stages and see what happens to my voice, because I was a good singer, but I never really worked on it until then. And so I began to kind of listen to his voice, listen to what he began to do. And there was one such time I went to a karaoke bar, and someone at the bar, asked me if I wanted to go up and sing. I went up and sang, and someone came up and said, There are bits of it that sound a bit like Elvis," and I didn't really put so much effort into sounding like Elvis. But then, in retrospect, because I did so much of listening, it kind of got instilled in my subconscious brain that I didn't realize that my vocal techniques or my moves or my hand gestures began to be like Elvis, and people began to notice that. And then from then on, I kept going to this place back again and again. And then someone asked me if I wanted to enter into a competition. So I entered into a competition, into a karaoke competition. It wasn't even an Elvis competition. And I went there and I got into the state finals. So I began to take things a little seriously. I was like, okay, from being something that's fun, that's getting a little serious now. So I began to test myself and see with the other areas if people would really accept me and if I'm on the right track and stuff. So I began to do a lot of free gigs. I bought myself equipment as well, some professional mixers and speakers and amps and stuff, and I began to do a few free shows. Got a good response, and then someone asked me to come and sing for their band, and I got paid for it. And I was like, wow, imagine doing something that you love, you enjoy doing, and you get paid for it. And from then on, I went on to go into another Elvis competition in Sydney, but it was an online competition
Yeah. I'll come
because
to
of
that
COVID.
competition part. Gerard, I really want to ask you is very important thing. In your profile, it says, that you've won the first place at ARTC Virtual Elvis Competition. This was
Yeah,
in 2021. You also won second place at Elvis Down Under. This was in New Zealand in 2022. Then again, third place
yeah,
at Sydney again. This is again the Elvis Festival, and you featured. Obviously, you've been in the top 8 finalists at UETA competition again in Sydney 2024. Now, looking at this entire thing. Elvis Presley, obviously, we know is a huge brand altogether. There's quite a legacy that we know. How bigger is this, competition per se, or trying to perform and still, post everything? Because the kind of awards and the competition that I say at a global level are, phenomenal. How do you
thank you.
evaluate this Elvis Presley phenomenon across the globe still now?
Yeah, I mean, look, Elvis Presley died too young, but his music spans. I don't think it'll ever die because his style and stuff was just very iconic. Um, Again, being in competitions, there are thousands and thousands of Elvis Presley tribute artists around the world. So leave alone Australia, but it's very important as an artist. What I find makes someone quite genuine to someone else who's just a fancy dress is you at the end, yes, you're portraying Elvis, but you have to be genuine and you have to uh, you have to work hard at this. It's not something just because my dad was a good singer that I could be a good singer in a click of a button. It does take a lot of practice, and I think and because people see that on stage, people can feel the energy, can see whether you're really enjoying, you're interacting with the crowd. Are you a natural on stage? Uh, and For me, I think personally, for me, my personality is completely different when I am with my friends or with my family. And when I'm on stage, there's something electric that happens to me on stage, which even when I look back at my videos and I'm like, who is this guy? But it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I love creating, and I love it when people actually enjoy it and respond to it because um, and I guess that's a part of being an entertainer is letting people feel the emotion and enjoy the journey.
Okay,
Yeah.
on
So
that point, I want to ask you is there are many Elvis Presley, you may say look-alike, you may say they look like them, they perform like them, they dress like them. But what makes you stand out in that entire crowd? Now you've seen the crowd in Australia, you've seen it in New Zealand as well, and you've seen around also. What makes Gerard Mascarenhas stand out in this entire Elvis Presley crowd that want to impress?
look, it was a little hard at the start. I wouldn't say it's easy. Coming from a different background, I mean, you've got to really work twice as harder. But I think being genuine and like I said, you have to enjoy yourself on stage and not let um, people put you off. You have got to be strong and believe in yourself, and you'll have the positive people come to you, and that'll keep you going. But I think what makes me stand out is uh, I think my moves on stage. Um, because I've come from a bit of a dance background, being in Goa and stuff, you kind of learn how to work your way around stage, learn the timing of the songs, which are the impact moves, which are the wow kind of areas where you can really get the crowd going. And yeah, I think that's probably my strong point. Just yeah, my moves and then the voice and stuff, and being able to portray that emotion
You
to people.
Correct. You've also been featured on Foxtel in a series called The Couch. What is this series basically? And how has been that particular experience? Making it mark at that global scale.
Yeah, so I've done 3 seasons with them already. Just I think just after COVID, or one was before COVID. But anyway, so there was this ad which was there, and then I sent my link there, and the gentleman there, Mr. Fred Mafrika, who also is a radio host over here, runs the show, and he contacted me and he gave me a slot. So to come and perform on the sets. It was quite overwhelming for me because I've always sung in front of audiences, and I would get energy from the audience for me to kind of give back. But this time it's just cameras all around and the lights and stuff. And I think I had to visualize myself being in front of an audience to be able to do that. So I did. I did a couple of songs for them. There was a good response. They had good hits as well on the videos. So he asked me to come back. I did another one and then another one. So and I think I probably might do another one again later this year. But yeah, it was quite amazing to see how all the cameras have got different functions, and how the directors coordinate and the producers coordinate with each other. Quite a learning experience for me as well, and being my first. So yeah, I'm quite fortunate to be yeah, being featured there.
Correct. Now we've been talking about your journey in Australia. Basically, I really want to ask you is first, why did you feel to move out of Goa and obviously India, and why Australia?
Look, I never targeted going to Australia. Um, there's a very good friend of mine who we had a discussion with. We were just talking, like, and I guess I just wanted to do something different. I've always been like that since I was a child. I always wanted to do something different, something big. And we were sitting up the month, It all happened up the month in Margao back then, where we all could sit and we would sit and we would talk. And I said, I just wanted to do something different. And this friend of mine said, we're going to go and meet his cousin, who's an agent apparently who sends people abroad and stuff like that. I said, okay, well, there's no harm in going and having a chat. So this was when we went to his cousin's place, and he gave me a bit of a brief. I immediately went back and I told my dad, and my dad just pounced on me. He's like, you know what? I think you should go. And I was like, really? So, so we went back and we were trying to evaluate as to which would fit. And then Australia fitted into what I wanted to do because I'm basically from the hotel industry. I've done my bachelor's in hospitality management in Goa and through IIS, Miramar. And then I did, and then I was working for hotels and restaurants and stuff. And and then I was a flair bartender in my early days. So I was always into showbiz. Um, and then I worked for a few hotels, and then I decided to do my master's in business administration, but major in hospitality. So I came here in 2008, started from the scratch. Uh, I was working as a bartender, as a wait person, and then got promoted gradually at Hilton Hotels over here. And then worked for them for a few years, got my PR, and citizenship fell as well. You know, I didn't plan to stay here, but things just began to happen. Um, I was lucky to get sponsored by the hotel. So, like, you know, I didn't plan for it. It was just being myself, and they happened to like me, and then they sponsored me. Um, and then, yeah, then few years down the line, I'm doing this. It's quite different to
Okay.
what I started with and what I've ended with. So
Now you tend to be very comfortable in Australia now. You know, you've got your citizenship as well, and you have made a life for yourself. I'm intrigued to ask you what is that one or two things that you miss of Goa?
the food, the people, um, the late night bike rides to the beach, sitting on the shack, the fish. Oh man, there's so
Hmm.
much. Um, it's I'm not saying you don't get those things here, you get them here, but they're so tempting. I also have to be mindful to be mindful of my diet while I do this. So yes, I do have my cheat days. My cheat days consist of good Goan fish curry or with some kingfisher beer. I wish I could get the others, but I do have my cheat days where I would just have a very soulful Goan food and just fall asleep on the couch.
Okay, we've spoken a lot about Elvis Presley. If I may ask you, what is the one particular favorite song that has always remained with you, and it is like on the hook whenever you think of Elvis Presley?
Uh, there are various songs. I guess what really intrigued me or touched my soul was some of his gospel songs.
Hmm.
And there's a song called "Where No One Stands Alone," which
Hmm.
he sings. It really means a lot. You know, the lyrics and stuff. Even if I sing it now, even during my practice session, it does bring a tear to my eye. So it's quite a difficult song to sing. But I do it for just for inspiration and to kind of get the soul moving. But that's my for my gospel. But if I had to perform my song, I like rubbernecking. There's a song called "Don't Be Cruel." There's a song "Can't Help Falling in Love," which is one of his classics, which a lot of people know. So yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few of them. It's very
Nice.
difficult to pinpoint
Okay.
one particular song.
You shifted to Australia in 2008. You worked your jobs against all the odds. You completed your master's MBA. You worked with a lot of hotels, and now I believe you are into teaching. Again, teaching at the various premier institutes. How has been
Yeah.
that journey, and how has it helped to pursue your passion?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question because I've had this discussion with other people as well, and so in my hotel industry working life and operationally, I've got around 17 years of experience, both from the scratch to management level, and I thought it was time for me to go and share the knowledge as well. I've been a gold medalist for a cocktail championship here as well. So, you know, I've wanted to pass on the knowledge because I really have a passion for the industry. But now coming to teaching, which is what you've asked, I look at teaching and being on stage the same because as a lecturer or a teacher, you still need to keep your audience, in this case, students, engaged. You still have to keep them in class, get them to do their work. And if you look at the parallel, it's the same being on stage where you've got to keep your audience engaged to enjoy a 2 or 3 hour show. So I see a lot of parallels in that in this. So I enjoy teaching as well as being on stage.
Okay, so it is both. Both you have to perform and impress the
Yeah,
crowd
it's
ahead
basically
of you.
that. It's basically that because the students feel your energy and your passion for the topic that you're going to teach on.
Very true.
Um, so they would engage as well in class. Being at the university level or a college level, the students get bored very easily. There's a lot of theory that's thrown on them, and you've got to kind of make it fun for them to stay on in class and not drop out. So
Correct. So, teaching is where you are pursuing it now. You also intend to have your own production company, Elvis and the Rock and Roll Music. Now, if you can share some beats on that so that it entice all the viewers who are watching this program.
yeah, look, ever since I've been doing this so much more on stage now, and being from a dance background, there's so many ideas that keep coming in my head as to I should do this for a show, I should do that for a show. And sometimes those ideas don't get carried forward on stage because of various other companies and their rules and regulations and stuff. So this is something that I want to do on stage with my own production company, which will be my way. It will be what I wanted to do. Um, for example, I've actually composed an Elvis song. I've matched up two Elvis songs into a reggae version of an Elvis song, um, which is something and reggae music is something that I like. I grew up listening to, and and kind of taking Elvis's music and rearranging and recomposing them, um, and putting it out there is something that I like because Elvis did the same as well. He took songs from other artists and he made it his own. So I take inspiration from that. Like I can take songs from Elvis and other artists and also make it my own.
Okay,
And that's what's
I can
happening in
see
the
you have
background.
had a roller coaster ride right from Goa to Australia. What I want to ask is how has been your family's support? Because that is something, because you've had a crazy ride, right from
Yes.
hospitality to your performance to now into teaching. Now again, you want to pivot and, balance your production house as well. How has been this
Yeah.
career graph and how is your family supporting
Um,
you?
Look, I've never pivoted away. My music is kind of building up on the side. My hotel and my teaching career has been steady on the side. But yes, it's been as my music journey is growing and getting bigger. My family support is so much more important, and I've got two wonderful kids and an amazing wife who's gives me my space and gives me looks after my diet and stuff as well. Uh, and when I go away, I know it's quite challenging for her to manage the house and the kids. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I didn't have her or I didn't have my kids as my motivation. So when I look at my kids and how they enjoy Elvis's music. They know more Elvis's music than nursery rhymes. So when they go to daycare, they go to school, they're singing more Elvis songs than nursery rhymes. And even the teachers have come back and they're like, "How does your daughter know this song?" And then I've got to kind of give them a bit of background as to why. But it's been an enjoyable journey, and having my family through this with me is amazing. And once the kids basically grow up, I might take them along as well to other states and places.
So basically, what I can, round it off is from this interview is you have to follow the passion. The career is one part of the story, but also, passion is something that you always have to follow. Now, we hear a lot of things whether you should choose, a traditional career or you should follow the passion, because passion sometimes won't make you money, but it will make you happy. But, your traditional career will give you money, but will not make you happy. If
Yes.
you have to give an advice to the viewers in Konkani, but with an Australian accent, how would you do that?
I don't speak Konkani very well, and yeah, I haven't. But if you could translate this for me, yeah. Look, if I had to give an advice, it would be don't give up on your dreams, and because your dreams can last your lifetime. There's no cutoff date as to when you can pursue your dreams.
Very true.
Like singing, I might go and get busy with my work. I might have another project coming these days. I might get busy with that temporarily, but the music will still stay on. I can still continue this in 2 or 3 years' time. So your dreams can always be a part of you, and never fail, because it does. I think everyone's got a purpose in life. You don't have to be a musician, okay? Just because you're looking at this interview, you can be the best painter as well, okay? And that might make you happy. You might be
Correct.
an artist or whatever. There is something within you that will make you happy. Never give that up, because it may not make you that money, but it will definitely help you with your main job or main work that you're pursuing. It will help you create that balance, because in this world there's so much of stress going on. You need that balance. It has helped me. And for the young kids, there's something that I did as a child, and I see that coming into reality now, is always visualize yourself being what you want to be, because your subconscious mind and your brain does crazy things when you visualize yourself. And I would always visualize myself being on stage as a child. I would put my headphones on, I would listen till the point my hands would move, my legs would move, and people would think this guy is crazy. But I was actually being transported to a different world just by listening to it. And that's why it all happens quite naturally on stage. But yeah, so I would say visualize a lot, never give up on your dreams. You have to make money, you have to pay bills, you need a balance of both, but never give up.
Gerald, it was indeed pleasure to have you, and starting this series of Goa Connect, the global Goikas. I think it's fantastic. I had a fantastic conversation with you, and this will lead to a lot of numerous stories. And over a course of time, definitely we get a lot of global Goikas that are based around the world to your television
Yes.
screen and to your mobile and iPad screens. As Elvis Presley once rightly said, "Till we meet again, may God bless you all." Adios, Gerald. It was a fantastic conversation. I think people have learned a lot about you. And best of luck and all my best wishes for
Thank you so
you
much.
and your future, and obviously in your family. Make a great name and obviously make all the Goans proud, obviously in Australia and
That's
around
it.
the globe. Thank
Yeah,
you
yes.
very much. Pleasure it was.
Thank you so much.